So good morning, Year 10s. Nice to see you. Today's lesson is all about repetition. So we have 3 different learning objectives today, and all of them involve repetition. So that makes me really happy. We're doing condition-controlled loops in algorithms, condition-controlled loops in code, as in Python, and condition-controlled loops in flowcharts. Sorry, should have got that ready. We've talked about sequence and selection as programming constructs or programming structures. So remember, sequence just means multiple instructions in order, and selection means making a decision. Looping or repetition or iteration is how we start to get our code much more efficient. You could have 100 lines of code that all do the same thing, but if you can have that in a loop, then you've just got a couple of lines that does all of that in one go. So sometimes it is necessary to repeat yourself, and most programs do have an element of repetition. Your life is very repetitive. You get out of bed, you do your morning routine, you go down, you have breakfast, you eat your advent calendar chocolate, you go to school. There are certain things that you do every day. If you have to code everything in your brain, that is a new, bewildering challenge every day. It's exhausting. You would be absolutely exhausted if everything was new. But you experience repetition throughout the day, and familiarity allows you to build up experience and build up confidence. It's the same in your programs. If you can use the repetition, then it means that you can decrease the complexity and expand or just free up your time to do more interesting stuff. Different types of loops and repetition. So we've got count-controlled loops, and we've got condition-controlled loops, and we've got iterating through each item in a data structure. So today's lesson is all about condition-controlled loops. So that means we need to be aware of Boolean expressions. Remember, Boolean expression is just an expression, something that you say that might involve string literals or literal values like numbers, and operators like add and subtract and mod and divide and all that kind of stuff, and function calls like find the maximum. All of that in an expression which evaluates to a Boolean value, so a true or false value, a Boolean expression. And you just keep looping whilst that expression is true. Whilst I'm cold, put on another layer. Whilst I'm tired, stay in bed. Whilst I'm grumpy, shout at a student. Those kind of things. So this is inefficient. It's inefficient because it takes up a lot of time to write, and it takes up more space to save that program on disk. With a while loop, we've got 4 lines of code that does the same thing. We've added complexity. It might be a bit harder to understand, but we've removed unnecessary repetition. So how does this work? Well, we need a counter. It's just a variable, and we have an initial condition. We set it to 0. We have a Boolean expression. So our Boolean expression is just something that is evaluated, as in calculated. Is count less than 10, yes or no? Does that evaluate to true or false? I call that a Boolean expression. And whilst that Boolean expression is true, the indented code repeats. So that's why indentation, as in shunting stuff across to the right, is so important in Python. And notice, just like we had in if, we introduced a rule that said wherever you have a line that ends in a colon, the next line has to be indented. And because both of these lines are indented, both of these lines are going to get repeated 10 times. So there's much more to repetition than just counting. You can go on indefinitely. So condition-controlled iteration is sometimes called indefinite iteration because it can go on for an infinite amount of time. Sometimes you respond to the user input, as in you keep repeating until the user says something or whilst the user says something. So I'm going to pause the video here. When will this program stop? Have a read through, have a think. When will this program stop? So this is going to keep on repeating whilst the user choice is not equal to exit. So it's going to run at least once. Then you ask, you let the user type something in, and then you go back round again, and then if the user types in exit, it won't stop straight away, as in it will stop the next time this expression is evaluated. So if they type in exit, it's still going to say you chose exit, but then it would loop back round again, and then it would stop. So let's have a look and see how that's represented in a flowchart. It's just an extension of a decision. Remember, you have your diamonds to make a decision. Is it raining at the moment? Yes or no? But in a flowchart for repetition, you still have the decision, but you just loop back round again. So repetition in a flowchart is just some flow, as in an arrow that goes back round again. Has the user chosen exit? Yes. Well, I would say... Oh, sorry, has the user not chosen exit? I missed off the exclamation mark here. So has the user not chosen exit? Yes, they haven't chosen exit. Bit of double negative going on here. But when they do say exit, it closes the program. Good. Sometimes we need loops inside loops, which is like a bird nesting inside a box. It's the only way I can think of this. So let's have an example. So if the user chooses hello, it's going to say nice to meet you. You can have an if statement nested inside a while loop. Or if you wanted, you can have a while loop nested inside a while loop. What does that mean? It just means all of it is indented. So this is going to keep repeating forever and ever and ever and ever and ever until the user says exit. But if they say hello, it's going to give a friendly greeting. All right, let's have a look at our worksheet for today. So this is CT11. You've got some jumbled up code. You just need to reorder these so that you get the program output for activity 1. So find this on the VLE. It's under algorithms and programming 2, CT11. Work your way through activity 1, please. So it's worth flagging the different comments you have in here. This is the structure that you're likely to see in the practical exam that you'll sit at the end of year 11. So remember, you'll have a written paper and you'll have a practical exam. In the practical exam, all of the code follows the same kind of structure. You have these blocks, so they like you to define your constants, and then your global variables, and then your any subprograms, that kind of thing, and then your main program. You have your lines of code. You don't need to change them other than changing the order and changing the indentation. So remember that rule. Wherever you have a line of code that ends in a colon, the next line or the next lines are expected to be indented, which means they are going to be the ones that are repeated. I'm just going to highlight a sentence here. A lot of you are excellent at zooming straight in to rearrange and add the indentation, but I'm going to highlight this sentence. It says, remember to use white space, comments, and indentation to make your code readable. So white space just means split it up into paragraphs, leave some empty lines, not just randomly, but say, for example, if you have your if you have your constants in here, maybe leave a blank line before you comment for your global variables. So use white space. Comments, if you have a while loop, sometimes it helps to comment what the while loop does. So keep looping until, put it into human readable stuff with a comment, and then you absolutely have to put the indentation on, otherwise it won't work without it. So white space, comments, and indentation, all strategies you can use to make your code more readable. So for activity 2, it's a similar kind of activity. You've got all the lines of code, you just need to rearrange them. So it says, Mary had a little lamb. Would you like another? Yes or no? And then it keeps looping round until Mary doesn't want any more little lambs. And some of you have pointed out that we've got the same line of code twice in here. And so that is sometimes necessary. Sometimes you need to ask to set a variable before the loop happens. And then you also need to ask the user inside the loop. If you only ever asked the user to type in yes or no before the loop happens, then you'd get this endless loop that says, do you want another lamb, yes or no? And they say yes. And then it would constantly say, have another lamb, have another lamb, have another lamb, have another lamb, have another lamb. So you ask them first before the loop, and then inside the loop you can ask them again so that it's possible to say, no, I don't want any more lambs. So same kind of activity for this one. Remember to use your white space, so that's lines between lines, split up into paragraphs. Use your comments, as well as the comments that are there. Explain what's going on in your code. I like the convention where every time the indentation changes, as in if you remove or add indentation, you add a comment to explain what happens. And you always try and have a blank line above your comment. So that makes it crystal clear that the comment refers to the line underneath rather than the line above. It is possible to put comments on the end of a line, but I don't like that because it makes your lines too long. It makes it rather unreadable. That's personal preference. So for activity 3, it's the same kind of thing, but with a flowchart. So it's like what we showed in the video just earlier. You just have a decision, and then the output of that decision keeps looping round until you get the Boolean expression, as in the answer to your question, the answer to your decision that you're looking for. And then activity 4 is more of the same, but you have to add a little bit more in. So you've got some working code this time. You've just got to put in some additional choices. So copy and paste your if user choice is equal to something else, and it'll try and do something else. Which then leads us on to our extension activity. So I'll pause it and then write it up, and then put your code in at the end and submit by the end of the lesson, please. So here is your extension activity. You don't have to do all of this. Just take a screenshot of as much of this as you're able to do. So try and make your own main menu in Python. So that's going to be a while loop. You can actually just have while true. So I'll talk you through how to do that in a little bit. So just constantly keep going through. And then 3 options. So if the user input is 1, have another while loop inside that counts down from 25. Or option 2, so if what they type in is a 2, then it counts up from 1 to 100. And then if it's 3, it will tell a joke. By random, I mean you can just put one random joke in yourself, or preferably you have a number of different jokes and it chooses one at random. I'll work through a solution in a mo, but that's your extension challenge to try and work on. Do remember to submit this at the end of the lesson. Don't worry if the extension activity isn't finished, just show the code that you've got. All the best. So we're going to work through a solution to the extension. First of all, we need a main menu. So help, we'll print main menu. And we're going to say the different options. So print 1, countdown. And print 2, count up. And tell a random joke. Help, can't spell. And that should be option 3. We want that to be repeated. So we're going to put that in a loop. Now, in the past, we've had something like while user input is not equal to Q. We're just going to say, like proving that this is a Boolean expression. On my screen now is a Boolean expression, the simplest Boolean expression. It's just true, whilst true. So this code is going to repeat forever and ever and ever and ever, because true always evaluates to true. If we run it, it will kind of crash the program, as in constantly do the same thing over and over again. So I should probably put in that we need to be able to quit. So let's say Q for quit. So now I can say if option is equal to Q, and I don't know what option is yet. So sequence means I need to ask the question before I respond to the answer. So let's say option is equal to input make a choice. And if what the user types in response to that is Q, so another difference to what we've had in the example so far. So far we've had things like option equals option.upper. I'm going to simplify that and do it on one line and say just do .upper here. So I'm going to convert it all to uppercase. So if they say quit, I'm just going to break out of the loop. Some people don't like this and they say it's bad practice because they don't really like the break keyword. I do quite like it. I think it's quite helpful. But whilst true, this is going to repeat forever until we break the loop. So let's test it so far. Whilst true, blah, 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 keeps repeating. But when we press Q, even a lowercase q, it quits. Because the lowercase q gets converted to uppercase, and then we break the loop. So then all you need to do is say either if or elif, doesn't really matter. I'm going to go for elif because if it's not Q, then it might be something else. Elif option is equal to 1. I won't do all of them here. Let's count down. So let's have a loop. So let's say number is equal to 25. 25 days until Christmas. It's exciting. It's the 1st of December today. while number is greater than 0, number minus equals 1, decrease it by 1, and display that number. So that will almost work, but it's going to count down from 24. So let's see. Count down. Oh, no, that hasn't worked, has it? I've said print the literal value 25. I want to display the variable number. Let's try again, but I still think it will count down from 24. Let's see. Scroll up. Yeah, we've gone from 24 to 0 because we decrease the number before we display the number. Sequence is important. Sequence is the order of your instructions. Let's try again, and then I'll stop there. Remember, you don't have to do all of the extension. Just attempt all that you can. Count down. There we go, from 25 to 1. And then we can press Q and it quits. I'll leave this part up on the screen. See if you can do a nested while loop inside this while loop for number 2, and then just tell a random joke. Why not? Remember to submit onto the VLE, please, at the end of this lesson. All the best.